What is the best NSFW Christmas joke you know? A middle-aged woman goes to a tattoo parlor and asks the tattoo artist to tattoo Thanksgiving on the inside of one of her thighs and Christmas on the inside of the other thigh. The tattoo artist is curious about this and asks, "Why such an odd request?" Full stop. The woman tells him, "My husband always complains that there's nothing good to eat between Thanksgiving and Christmas." Husband's reaction, "Leftovers again?" A guy decides to buy his new girlfriend a pair of gloves for Christmas. After all, they've only been dating for 3 weeks, so it seems like the ideal gift. Romantic, yet not too personal. He asks the girlfriend's younger sister to accompany him to buy them, then she can point out a pair she'd like. They go to the mall and the sister points out a pair of white gloves which the guy then buys. The sister then picks up a pair of panties for herself and buys them. But during the wrapping, the clerk mixes up the parcels. As a result, the sister gets the gloves and the guy takes home a gift box containing the panties. Without checking, the guy rushes the gift to his sweetheart, but only after drafting this loving and helpful note to accompany it. "I chose these because I notice you are not in the habit of wearing any when we go out in the evening. If it had not been for your sister, I would have chosen the long ones with the buttons. But she wears the short ones that are easier to remove." Why did the snowman drop his pants? Why doesn't Santa have any kids of his own? He only comes down the chimney. Bert the brown-nosed reindeer, he could fly just as well as all the others. He just couldn't stop as fast. I got my wife a pair of slippers and a DLDO. If she doesn't like the slippers, she can go duck herself. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, nothing was stirring. Not even a mouse. I should have bought a carbon monoxide alarm. One of the elves needs some last-minute supplies, so he takes his snowmobile and heads off across the North Pole. Unfortunately, the snowmobile breaks down, but he has special North Pole AAA and soon a mechanic arrives. He takes a look and says this is gonna take a while. But there is a cafe just down the road, so why don't you head down there and come back in an hour? The elf heads off and finds that the cafe serves vanilla ice cream, his favorite. After an hour he walks back across the ice to the snowmobile. The mechanic glances over the vehicle and says, "Looks like you blew a seal." The elf blushes and wipes his mouth. No, it's just ice cream." On the first Christmas morning, the 3 wise men walk into the manger. The first one steps in donkey's tea, looks at his shoe and exclaims, "Jesus Christ." Mary looks up at Joseph and says, 2 convicts had just been placed in cells beside each other on death row. Convict number 1 looks at convict number 2. Convict number 1. "What got you sent here?" Convict number 2. "I held up a convenience store and shot the clerk when he tried to pull a gun on me." "You?" Convict number 1 says, "Well, last Christmas Day my wife was working a double and all our kids were being little shts. Yelling, cussing, breaking stuff. You know, like the little bastards do. So I couldn't take it and called my mother-in-law for advice. She told me to go out to the garage, get a bunch of empty boxes, wrap them up all pretty like with bows, and set them down under the tree, then whenever a kid misbehaved grab one and throw it into the furnace. So I did." Convict number 2. "What's that got to do with your being sent here?" Convict number 1. "I ran out of kids." Why was dad upset that he got a sweater for Christmas? Because he wanted a screamer or a moaner. A 17-year-old male walks into a drugstore. He says, "I've been invited to Christmas dinner at my new girlfriend's house. Afterwards I hope there is a chance I get lucky. You know what I mean." Clerk, "How about condoms then? They could come in handy. Here's a pack." The young man, after paying, walks to the door, stops, smiles, comes back. "You know what? The mom is also smoking hot. I think I'll take another pack, just in case I get extra lucky." Christmas Eve comes around. The boy sits at the dinner table and doesn't say a word. After a while his girlfriend says, "If I had known you were so quiet, I wouldn't have invited you." The young man replies, "If you had told me your dad works at a drugstore, I wouldn't have come." 3 men died on Christmas Eve and were met by Saint Peter at the pearly gates. Cute in honor of this holy season. Saint Peter said, "You must each possess something that symbolizes Christmas to get into heaven." Cute. The first man fumbled through his pockets and pulled out a lighter. He flicked it on. It represents a candle. He said, Cute, you may pass through the pearly gates, Saint Peter said. Cute. The second man reached into his pocket and pulled out a set of keys. He shook them and said, "They're bells." Saint Peter said, "You may pass through the pearly gates." Cute. The third man started searching desperately through his pockets and finally pulled out a pair of women's panties. Cute. Street. Peter looked at the man with a raised eyebrow and asked, "And just what do those symbolize?" Cute. The man replied. Q. What do female reindeer do when the guys are out working? A. They go into town and blow a few bucks. A priest was visiting a delivery ward. There were 4 women in the ward awaiting their due date. One of the mothers was asleep. The priest asks the first expectant mother when the due date is. The 12th of September. Father. He asks the second mother. The 12th of September. Padre. The third mother. The 12th of September. He then points to the 4th and asks if she is due on the 12th too. "I don't know, Father. She wasn't at our Christmas party." Why does Santa always come through the chimney? Because he knows better than to try the back door. What's the difference between Tiger Woods and Santa? Long ago there was a very hectic day at the North Pole getting ready for Christmas Eve, and Santa was having a tough time. It seemed nothing was going right and the Claus man was stressed. So an angel, seeing this, thought she would help and went down to a forest and brought back a great looking Christmas tree. Just as Santa finished dealing with another sleigh loading snafu, the angel shows up with the tree and asks Santa, showing him the beautiful large tree, "Where should I put this?" Full stop. Full stop. Full stop. Full stop. So that is why we have an angel on top of the typical Christmas tree to this day. I went and bought a real Christmas tree. The bloke selling it asked me if I was going to put it up myself. I said no. "You sick bastard. I'm putting it in my living room." So little Jimmy runs downstairs Christmas morning. He opens his presents and the last one is a giant box. In it is the brand new bike he has always wanted. He begs his parents to let him go ride it. And they say yes. So he's out riding his bike having the time of his little life when all of a sudden a cop on a horse stops him. The cop says, "Hey, did Santa get you that bike for Christmas?" Little Jimmy excitedly says, "Yeah, it's the exact one I wanted." The cop looks at Jimmy, smiles and says, "Well, next time you should have asked Santa to get you a reflector on the bike." And gives little Jimmy a ticket. Jimmy thinks for a second and asks the officer if Santa gave him the horse for Christmas. The cop, feeling funny, said yeah he did. So Jimmy looks at him and says, "Well, next time you should ask him to put the DCK under the horse instead of on top of it." A family is sitting around the supper table. The son asks his father, "Dad, how many kinds of breasts are there?" The father, surprised, answers, "Well, son, there are 3 kinds of breasts. In her 20s, a woman's breasts are like melons, round and firm. In her 30s to 40s, they are like pears, still nice but hanging a bit. After 50, they are like onions." "Onions?" said the boy. "Yes. See them and they make you cry." The father replied. This infuriated the wife and daughter, so the daughter said, "Mum, how many kinds of willies are there?" The mother, surprised, smiles and looks at her daughter and answers, "Well, dear, a man goes through 3 phases. In a man's 20s, his willy is like an oak tree, mighty and hard. In his 30s and 40s, it is a birch, flexible but reliable. After his 50s. It is like a Christmas tree. A Christmas tree? Said the daughter. Yes. Why is Santa's sack so big? He only comes once a year. When I was growing up, our family was so poor that if you didn't wake up with a hard-on on Christmas morning, you would have nothing to play with. Santa slides down a chimney to find a beautiful woman sitting in a chair in her pajamas. She smiles. Hey Santa. I've always wanted to get ducked by you. Santa shakes his head. Ho. 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 Santa's gotta go. Gotta bring toys to the kiddies, you know. With that, he slides back up the chimney. Santa slides down the next chimney to find yet another beautiful woman sitting in a chair in a flannel nightgown. She smiles. Merry Christmas, Santa. Want a duck? Once again Santa says. Ho. 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 Santa's gotta go. Gotta bring toys to the kiddies, you know. Again he leaves. Santa slides down another chimney. This time he finds another beautiful woman wearing the SZS lingerie. She's fingering herself furiously as Santa exits the chimney. Boning. She cries out. Oh Santa. Duck me hard. Hey. 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 Santa's gotta stay. Can't get up the chimney with my DCK this way. Edit. Thank you for gold and silver. On Family Feud. What quality does Santa have that women wish their man had? He lasts all night. I was out at a bar with an older coworker. He had a Santa hat on. And kept using the pickup line, hey. Would you like to help Santa come early tonight? God is hanging out at a bar with his drinking buddies trying to decide where to take his vacation. One buddy says, what about Pluto? God says, last time I went there I broke my leg skiing. Another friend asks, what about Venus? God says, last time I was there I got all sunburnt and no one likes a vengeful God. Third friend says, what about Earth? God says, Earth. Last time I was there I knocked up some Jewish chick and I haven't heard the end of it since. My school bus used to sing dirty carols that would never fly today. Joy to the world. The teacher's dead. We barbecued her head. What happened to the body? We flushed it down the potty. Around it goes. Around it goes. Around it goes. And deck the halls with gasoline, fa la 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 la. Light a match and watch it gleam, fa la 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 la. Watch the school burn down to ashes, fa la 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 la. Aren't you glad you played with matches? Richard comes home with a large bird cage to surprise his family for Christmas. Honey, I went to the pet store and bought a parrot like JR has been asking for. His owner has recently passed away but the bird is in good health. Poor bird still answers to his name. Chet. Apparently the old kook taught him some interesting tricks. If you hold a lit match near one of his legs he'll sing a different Christmas song. On Christmas morning JR is overjoyed to receive Chet and the family lights a match and holds it near his left leg. Chet squawks and belts out jingle bells. Squawk jingle bells. Squawk jingle all the way. Whistle. Overjoyed JR feeds him a cracker and lights another match holding it near Chet's right leg. I'm dreaming whistles of a SQWH at Christmas. Full stop. More crackers for Chet but JR is getting bored of hearing the same songs. The rapscallion lights 2 matches and holds them to the poor bird's legs. Chet's nuts squawk roasting on an open fire. Sorry, no, only one an NSFW Christmas joke in German. Semicolon. We were Jorel wissen. Kommt der Weihnachtsmann durch den Kamin. Also gerät beim Verteilen der Geschenkwar. Sieht im Flur like Jeff nicht Badesimeter. Schaut hindert und sieht die 17 Reich tochter beim Duschen. Danach ins Wohnzimmer und betet. Lieber Gott. Mach in Krumm. Damit ich durch den Schornstein komm. Semicolon. Oh, and one more I can translate to English. Boy goes to the pharmacy to buy a package of condoms for Christmas. Condoms for Christmas, say the pharmacist. Okay. Shall I gift wrap them? No thanks. Says the boy. That is the wrapping. Semicolon. Hey. Why is Santa always so jolly? Because he knows where all the naughty girls live. What's the difference between snowmen and Santa women? What is the difference between Christmas and a blowjob? At Christmas it's better to give than receive. What do Bill Cosby and Santa have in common? They only come when you're sleeping. All year long I work my fingers to the bone to afford nice presents for the kids. And every year that fat ducker with the beard gets all the credit. Still, I guess it's my fault for marrying her. How does Santa avoid STDs? If Thanksgiving is your right leg and Christmas is your left leg, I'd like to visit you between the holidays. Don't touch my belly button, you sick duck. What do Christmas trees and the Pope have in common? They both have balls that are only for decoration. BRB. Going to confession. What's so similar about Santa and Jimmy Savile? They both leave children's bedrooms with empty sacks. Edit. Thank for 500 upvotes, guys. Why doesn't Santa have any children? Because he only comes once a year. And when he does, it's down the chimney. How long does a turkey last in the freezer? I put one in last night and it was dead this morning. Money is short. Times are hard. Here's your ducking Christmas card. Sit worse the night before Christmas and all through the house everybody felched TTY, even the mouse. Mom at the WH Ray house and dad smoking grass. I just settled down for a nice piece of ass. When out on the lawn I heard such a clatter. I sprung from my piece to see what was the matter. Then out on the lawn I saw a big DCK. I knew in a moment it must be Street Nick. He came down the chimney like a bat out of hell. I knew in a moment that ducker had fell. He filled up our stockings with pretzels and beer and a big rubber DCK for my brother the queer. He rose up the chimney with a thunderous fart. That son of a bitch blew the chimney apart. He swore and he cursed as he rode out of sight. A little boy wrote Santa and asked for a little sister. Santa wrote back and said, send me your mother. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care. And just like Epstein, they didn't hang themselves there. Jesus walks into the inn, throws 3 nails on the counter and says, hey, could you put me up for the night? Stevie Wonder got a cheese grater for Christmas. What did the kid with no hands get for Christmas? Gloves. Santa goes down a chimney and a little kid is there and asks him, Santa, will you stay and play with me? Santa tell them, ho ho ho. Santa must go. He does down another chimney and another kid asks the same question. He tells them too. Ho ho ho. Santa must go. Then he goes down another chimney and there's a beautiful naked woman on the sofa. She asks him, Santa, will you stay and play with me? Santa tells her, hey Santa must stay. Can't get up the chimney with my DCK this way. Best if a woman says it. Come jingle my bells and I'll give you a white Christmas. So this lady writes a letter to Santa and says, my husband has been disappointing me in bed. Can you help me? Santa sends back a package of pills for him to take with a note that says, slip 2 of these in his dinner at night and he'll give you the best sex you've ever had. He also leaves his number and says to call if anything goes wrong. So she gives her husband 2 of the pills that night and they have amazing sex. The next night she gives him 3 pills and the sex is even better. The 3rd night, she slips him the rest of the bottle. A few days later Santa gets a call. He answers, hello. How are those pills working for you and your husband? He's surprised to hear a kid's voice. He says, are you the asshole that gave my mom the pills? Santa replies, yeah. The kid says, well, mom's dead. Sister's pregnant. My butthole hurts. And dad's in the attic saying, going saha kitty kitty. Santa was having a bad day. MRS. Claus was giving him hell. The orders were way behind. The reindeer tea on his carpet when an angel rang his doorbell. He opened it and the angel said, "Hey Santa, I have your Christmas tree. Where do you want me to stick it?" That's why we have an angel on top of the tree every Christmas. My birth. Someone made your typical haha, maybe your mum gave your dad a special Christmas gift and I laughed it off and called him a DCK, but then it all hit me like a sack of bricks. Both my parents are born around Christmas time and I happen to be born 9 months later in September. So yeah, there's that. When I was in this one class in high school there weren't a ton of people in it, but over half of us had birthdays over the middle of November. That's the first time I made the realization, along with about 14 other people all in the same moment, that we are all likely Valentine's Day babies. Little Jimmy and his sister Sarah run downstairs on Christmas morning, waking the parents to open gifts. Little Jimmy and Sarah see the tree all filled with presents and they both sit all excited as mom and dad start sorting the gifts. One for Sarah. Another one for Sarah. Another for Sarah. Semicolon. When they are finished sorting, Sarah has a huge pile of gifts and Jimmy is only left with 3 in front of him. As Jimmy sits looking at Sarah's pile, he visibly gets more and more upset. His sister is laughing, opening gifts, and starts to taunt Jimmy. Sarah. Nana nana boo boo, I got more gifts than you. Semicolon. Nana nana boo boo, I got more gifts than you. Semicolon. Jimmy, in a fit of rage. Nana nana boo boo, at least I don't have leukemia. Semicolon. Edit. Not my joke. Epileptic Santa. He seizures when you're sleeping. Not a joke, but I am going to make a sweater with subtly hidden fallacies and a difficult to read caption. What do the Pope and a Christmas tree have in common? Their balls are just for show. And kids play with them more than we would like. What's ho ho ho? It's what Santa says when he sees your sister, wife, and mother. Why does he repeat himself 3 times? That enjoying hard packages gets a whole new meaning when you grow up. As well as not wanting a soft one. Why isn't Santa able to ejaculate? Why did one of Santa's little helpers become a prostitute? The turkey is like my wife. Stuffed with seasoning. Why was the snowman smiling? He saw the snowblower coming. What did the one-legged child get for Christmas? Dart. Cancer. Knock knock. Who's there? Centipede. Centipede who? Centipede on the Christmas tree. Why does Santa visit the brothel so often? He likes his hose. 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 Like Christ. I came riding on an ass. Why is Santa in the hospital? He threw the wrong sack over his shoulder. Christmas lights are like Epstein. They don't hang themselves. What's the rudest kind of elf? What's the difference between Santa and a Jew? Santa goes down the chimney. Why is the angel on top of the tree always frowning? Would you smile if you had a tree up your ass? If Santa didn't come down your chimney, get off my roof. Jingle bells. Kill myself. I hear this song all day. Oh my god. What the duck? All I feel is pain. Not necessarily a Christmas joke. But apropos since family gathers and well, we all know the statistics. Q. What's worse than ants in your pants? A. Uncles.